and thank you for clicking on this video. So I wanted to ask you, does religion turn you off from God? Um, this is definitely an important one because I believe for many people, hopefully not you, but if it is, so be it. But I think many people stop searching for God or seeking God because of religion. And then to even take a step further outside that, I think people don't even look for God because of the perception out there in the general world. Um, so I want to bring this to your awareness because this was a reality changing realization for me. Really about 2.5, 3 years ago. So, like for me, I didn't grow up in the church. I would go with friends once in a while, and but I wouldn't say I was not religious or anything like that. Okay, I believe there was something. Let me put it that way. Well, I thought there was something, but I was too busy being a kid, doing all that stuff. So I would say like when I was a kid, yeah, I never looked into it really until the summer after I graduated high school. And then I read the New Testament myself. And that really started my end of the relationship with God. And I would say that that's when I became a believer. That started me down, I call my truth journey. Okay. And it wasn't until 2.5, 3 years ago that I say that I became a knower. Okay. Um, and that's why I definitely, this is a side note. I've mentioned this before, but it's important to not, like when I was growing up, the perception I had was that like you're bad for doubting, you need to just trust. Well, the thing is this, there's something to trust is built through experiences, right? And so if you're one that thinks um, that you're looked at as being bad because you have doubt, don't allow that to snare you and stop you from seeking. Okay, there's many deceptions, of course, because different layers of the onion to get through. Okay, because there's rulers of darkness here on this earth, and of course the enemy does not want you to know who you are, because to find out really who you are, you need to know who created you. You really need to know God to really know. Okay, and there's so many barriers that it can easily turn you off from seeking truth, which is God. Okay, and so I wanted to bring this up, because religion is really one of them. Okay, um, and I know for me, it turned me off in ways, but thank God, that summer I read for myself. First of all, you got to do your own work. Okay, it's your own relationship with God. There's going to be no one else there. There's no excuses when you're face to face with our Lord, our Creator, our Father of all creation. Um, there's no excuses because we're responsible for our own actions. Okay, like another side note, I've mentioned this before. We spend more time and energy worrying about what's outside, out of our control, than we do actually what is in our control in general. In general, I think as a society, we do that because we want distractions from actually having to face the hard truths about ourselves, because that we do know, that we do control. Okay. We like to have an image of ourselves that could be an illusion. And again, like I mentioned yesterday, truth cuts like a sword. It breaks illusions and it's painful. And so some people don't want to go through pain because in general, we like to avoid pain and hard things. But that's nothing worthwhile is usually easy. Okay. So I know I've already kind of gone off some tangents, but getting back to, does religion turn you off from God? I want to bring this up because, like I said, really it took all my adult life, well, again, my childhood to even start seeking, and then I became a believer, and then I really took a long time seeking, looking at different religions, like literally testing things out, talking to God. But I was a believer because I believed in God, but I didn't live my day to day. I didn't involve him in my life. I didn't know he was there. If that makes sense. There's a difference. There's a difference there. And when that clicked, like 2.5, 3 years ago, yeah, it was. It changed everything. It changed everything for the better. Okay, because religions. Well, first of all, if you're one, and I've thought about this, so if you're one that thinks, well, there's so many different religions. There's like probably, I think, over 4,000 religions out there. It's like, how can any of them be right? So you think, well, maybe none of them are right, and so I'm not even going to waste my time, right? And so you don't even seek God because, first of all, religion is not God. Religion is man-made rules, is what real religion is. Okay. So if first of all, just a quick spoiler alert: if religion does turn you off, make truth your religion, number one in your life. Make love your religion, the number one in your life, because that is God. Okay. Be a peacemaker. Make that number one. Make that your religion. Okay. Don't worry. Like I've mentioned this before, it never made sense to me. Oh, you can say 15 Hail Marys and your sins are forgiven. Well, no, man cannot forgive sins. Okay, because they have their own sins. Okay, I've talked about this. That's the whole, and that takes away from the whole reason Jesus Christ went through all his suffering for us and paid the price. It just, anyways, religions. Don't allow religions to to turn you off. Okay, seek God. Okay, so just think about this. If you don't believe or don't know, okay, if God exists and if he created you, then you should be able to go directly to him. Does that make sense? You don't need a middleman. You don't need a middleman. If he created you, then you can go directly to him. Okay? So think about that, hopefully, if you never really thought about it that way before. And like I said, I mean, there's definitely, like the Bible, I highly, highly recommend reading yourself, because you need to know, you need to have like something there, because God is truth. Does that make sense? And truth is going to stand on its own. Okay. And but don't worry about all the dogmas that man brings to religion. Does that make sense? But I want to basically say, don't let religion stop you from seeking God, because he created you and you have a direct connection with our creator, with the infinite, the almighty, the Alpha and Omega. Like I mentioned before, like I know there was many, I would say, layers to the onion, or barriers to get through, that I got through, thank God, with his help. But this is the thing: if you don't seek God, you'll never experience God, and you'll never get to know God. Does that make sense? And that's true with anything. Your relationships with other people only grow the more you experience with them. I mean, it's just the way things work. And it's not because God requires that. He's always there. But it's because we require that. It's like we require that, because You have to be truthful and honest. And so if you have doubts, you have to go to him with it. And this is the thing, though. He's the Almighty. He knows you. He knows how to get to you, how to speak to you, how to grab you in here. If you desire it in here, okay? Because we have free will, and he's not going to break that. He's not going to intrude on that. And so it can be subtle, but it's so hard to convey and describe, because, and the thing is too, the way he speaks to me may not be the same way he speaks to you, because we're all unique. All right. But I'm trying to be as general as possible, because I want to convey that God is real. And until 2.5, 3 years ago, like, I didn't think big enough about God. Okay. He is the great I am that I am. Okay. He is. Like, he's not some separate guy with a gray beard on a golden throne in a cloud somewhere, or, somewhere else. He is here. Okay. His angels are here. Okay. There cannot be anything that lives without God. I kind of talked about that. There's only life and death. There's only life and death, and there's only light and darkness. There's only love and lack of love. You can't measure the speed of darkness. You can only measure the speed of light, because darkness is the lack of light. So anyways, like religions, like even our Lord Jesus Christ, when he was here, he called out the religious leaders of the time, because they were so worried about the law, like what you do, like going through the motions. But he knew their heart, and he knew their heart was not correct, and they were prideful, and they had egos, and they enjoyed being looked up upon from the people. So they would like to keep people down so that they could be seen as higher, if that makes sense. Okay. But that's all an illusion fueled by selfishness, by your ego. Okay. And Jesus called them out on it to the point where they crucified him. The Romans crucified him, but the Jewish, the Jewish religious leaders is what pushed for it. Because Pilate even said that he sees no fault in this man, talking about Jesus. So anyways, I definitely want to convey that God is not an academic exercise. Okay. God is not follow a whole bunch of rules. Okay. God is more real and more deeper than that. Okay. Like most of us grew up, with some sort of education. And so we're kind of, even if you weren't good in school, we still have that mindset that's been developed from a young age of like an academic mindset. Okay. And God is not, God's above all that. Okay. That's man-made stuff. God is above all that. God is not an academic exercise. It's not about what you, like I mentioned yesterday, or the day before, you can have all the knowledge of the world, but not be wise. Like, you can have, you can go through all the physical things, but which I've said many times, they're temporary, they're death. That's not what it's about. They're tools to use to get stronger and to gain wisdom and to learn how to be loved in every moment and live in the moment. That's what it's about. Okay? Being authentic. But if you desire truth over feeling good, if you desire truth over your ego and pride, if you desire truth, he will show you. Okay? It doesn't matter what man-made titles or labels or religions or whatever you want to put on it, because those don't matter. Okay? Everything of man is temporary. Okay? So seek what is of God. Okay? Like all, like the religious religions would call these people saints, like that the Bible talks about. It's not like they were, like, we, from our perspective, we're reading about it now, but it's not like they were reading about it. They were living it. They were living it. And that's kind of my point here. God is not an academic exercise. He is life. He is being. He is. And that's what it's about for us. And so I'm making that distinction there. But this is the thing. God created you. We're all unique. And he gave you strengths, gave you weaknesses, he gave you a purpose. There's gifts that go beyond that, gifts that are eternal for you, that he's prepared for you. Okay? He's infinite. There's no limits. There's no wasting his time on you. So don't think about that. Don't think that. Just, if you've ever thought about that you're not worthy, well, we all fall short of the glory of God, but he created us still. He knew all that, and he created us still. If you exist, he loves you, because God is love. Okay? That's why he's the rock. Trust God over ourselves, because we can get deceived. We can, like I mentioned yesterday, I think, our feelings go up and down, our thoughts go back and forth. I mean, he is the rock. Okay? And it's undescribable once you become a knower, once you know, because you don't have doubt, you don't have fear, you realize there's nothing out of his control, and he loves you. The Almighty's got your back. Okay? Like, you don't have to figure everything out. You just have to try to get stronger and be in love in every moment and living in the moment. That's the step. That's the walk. That's every step you take. Every time you do that. And if you're following that, that is the path. And he will make the way for you. Does that make sense? And it's so relieving. You don't have to figure, everything out. You have to just stick with the moment and try to be love every moment. And the fruits of love, fruits of the Spirit. I've talked about that. It's in the Bible. You can Google it. Fruits of the Spirit. Being that, like Jesus didn't just tell the truth. He is the truth. Every moment he was being truth. Okay. Like, that was a big realization for me too. It's like, it's not just what you think and what you say, because we can say anything and think anything. It's, who are you really? What are you every moment? Does that make sense? And so, anyways, I'm kind of going off tangents, but I believe a lot of people want to know God, want to believe in God, but are turned off and discouraged by religions or man-made rules and dogmas, and that's all BS. Okay? It's not like God says you need. Let me put it this way: there's nothing you can do that will make God not love you. Okay? There's definitely things that we can do to please him and not please him. Okay? And I'm way guilty. I don't even know how many times you can't disappoint God, because he knows what you're going to do, but displeased him. Okay? By my free will, by using my free will in wrong, selfish ways. But there's nothing you can do you're not greater than our Creator. The creation is not greater than the Creator. You're not greater than God. Okay? And when you think that you've done something that's unforgivable, or something, there's no way that God can love you, that takes away from the glory of God, because that is the glory of God. That's what is so, like, mind-blowing, is no matter what you've done, he still loves you. Okay? that there's no, now he knows your heart, so there's no excuses. It's not an excuse to go just fulfill all the pleasures of the flesh, selfish pleasures. And then it'll be okay. He loves me. He's going to forgive me. No, he knows your heart. He knows what you know. He knows it all. Even thoughts and things we've done that we've forgotten about, he knows. Okay? He knows you better than you know yourself, really. And so you have to try to stay humble, and that's why I was bringing that up. You have to stay humble and realize that we have a limited understanding, limited perspectives, and we don't know it all. Okay? And what we don't know could change everything. So sorry, I know it kind of went on some tangents here, but it's very, very important. And I want to encourage you, if religion has turned you off from looking at God, from seeking God, don't let it. Because creations of man, which religions are man created, and sometimes for selfish reasons to have power over people, okay, for wrong reasons. That's not of God, okay? But you have a direct connection because he created you, and he's infinite. He's almighty. There's nothing impossible. And he is love. If you exist, he loves you. So I want to encourage you, seek God. Just talk to him. He's always there. He's always here. This is your secret place with the Almighty. Okay? You can, and the thing is, he knows everything, so there's no hiding anything from him. So just be open and honest. You have to face truth to overcome. Okay? So anyways, thank you. If you watch this video, thank you for sticking around. And if you liked it, please thumbs up the video. Subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. Ring-a-ding-a-ling the bell for notifications to let you know when I upload videos. And as always, stay strong and God bless.